I specialize in diagnosis and treatment of neurological disorders. I've been working for 20 years in this field. I look forward to the competition. We would like to see who will win. In the diagnosis of the brain diseases, I don't know what outcome will be in the end. I look forward to a miracle. Thank you, Professor Miu. It's a competition between human doctors and AI machine. What does the AI robot look like now? We'd like to give the floor to Professor Wang Yongjun, the director of China National Clinical Research Center for Neurological Diseases. Why do you host the competition? 2 reasons. First, we would like doctors and more people to learn more about artificial intelligence, which is the cutting-edge technology that is infiltrating every sector and industry, including the medical sciences. I think people should know more about artificial intelligence. And second purpose is with the advent of artificial intelligence, some doctors are worried they will be replaced. With the competition, I want the doctors to know artificial intelligence will help them instead of replacing them. So what does the AI robot look like? Let's take a look with Professor Wang Yongjun. The AI robot is developed by the AI Research Center for Neurology. Its name is BioMind. Bio represents biology. It has the soul of a human mind. Mind represents thinking. We want the BioMind to think like a human and to be as intelligent as a human brain. So this is BioMind. This afternoon, BioMind will compete with the best neurologists in China. It will showcase artificial intelligence and its potential in clinical practices. What's your prediction of the result? For me, it doesn't matter who wins in the end. The value of the competition is for people to learn more about artificial intelligence and encourage doctors to get involved in the development of AI. It also helps the public to learn the help that can be provided by artificial intelligence. How will artificial intelligence benefit the people? I think, first, it can help doctors do the laborious and tedious jobs so doctors can spend more time with patients. Second, after artificial intelligence is popularized in hospitals, it helps to improve the medical service standards, especially in smaller cities and towns outside of first-tier cities. Third, young doctors can grow faster. With the help of artificial intelligence, doctors can gain experience much faster. They can learn as much in 2 years of time with AI than without in 10 years of time. As far as we know, we have a very professional judge panel. So who are they? All the judges are the top experts in this field. Some are from Europe, the United States, some are from China. Also, I'd like to introduce to you the participants or doctors that will compete with the AI machine. They are the best practitioners in this field. It's a team of 10 to 15 doctors, and they will compete with the AI robot. This team of doctors in question is the strongest team there is on neurology. So I really look forward to the competition. Yes, thank you very much, Professor Wang. Dr. Gang Li, China representative of WHO is also present here today. So we would like to interview Dr. Gao. How does Dr. Gao feel about the competition? What is his prediction as to who will win?
I am like a child in a toy room. I am just waiting to see what miracles we will witness today on screen.
Dr. Gao said he's very excited, and he really looks forward to the final result.
WHO does not have an official position, but it has the very clear attitude that AI is going to fundamentally change public health and clinical practice. Every process of screening for disease, identifying syndromes, identifying target groups, choosing the right medicine, developing new medicines. All of these are going to fundamentally be different, not in 20 years' time, but as recently as 2, 3, 5 years' time.
OK， 那个高丽先生说呀，
Dr. Gao Li said, though artificial intelligence is not popularized at mass scale yet, it is much more advanced in comparison with 20 years ago. It is widely applied in a lot of industries and sectors. It will help with clinical treatment and diagnosis and a lot of other fields. So he really looks forward to the future development of AI.
I wouldn't want to put my reputation. Let me just say, I hope the machine will win. Because if the machine wins, we have a new tool that we did not have before, and that is the excitement of the moment.
他说就是他非常就是虽然很难说这个结果是怎么样的，但是呢，他想说。
Dr. Gao said, it's hard to predict the result. But he said he hopes artificial intelligence can win in the end. How does he think AI can help human doctors in the future?
Any other way. In the clinic, it will help the doctor to identify disease earlier. It will help to recognize diseases that we did not know about before. So fundamentally, it will create much opportunity for improving medicine.
And do you think that the AI will help a lot for us in the future?
Absolutely. I think many people are extremely worried about the danger. They've seen too many Hollywood movies. In reality, much of AI, as it is practiced, is purely an aid, an assistance, a new tool. And if we use it in the right way, we will have improved well-being.
说这个高丽先生说呀，就是说很多人都是其实对 AI 还是有担忧的，因为毕竟看了很多的这个好莱坞的
Dr. Gao Li said, many people are concerned about artificial intelligence because they watch too much Hollywood and they're afraid artificial intelligence will replace the mankind. But he believes that AI can help us to do more things and emancipate us in the future. In the competition this afternoon, there are two groups, Group A and Group B. Group A focuses on the intracranial disorders, and Group B focuses on hamartoma. So why are there two groups? Professor Mu Zhonglong, could you please tell us? Group A diagnoses whether or not it is a tumor and what kind of tumor it is. Brain tumor is a common disease. In the nervous system, there are benign and malignant tumors. And there are a lot of different types of tumors which require different treatments and prognosis. Before surgeries, we need to have a clear understanding as to what type of tumor it is and whether it is a tumor. That is crucial. That is why in Group A, Doctors will decide and diagnose whether they are tumors. Group B looks at the possibility of enlargement of hematoma. There are lots of reasons for hemorrhaging, for example, hypertension, abnormal vessels, cerebral vessels. That is crucial to prognosis. If hematoma has high risks of enlargement, doctors need to be ready for surgeries. If not, then conservative interventions are more recommendable. Sometimes it is hard to predict whether or not a hematoma will enlarge. If artificial intelligence can help us with precise prediction and prognosis, I believe it will be fundamental to the future development of the treatment of hematoma. Thank you very much. It is a full house today. I would like to ask the audience opinions and see who they think will win. Good afternoon. Who do you think will win? I believe the human doctors will. You hope so? Yes. Do you think AI will replace doctors in the future? I don't think so. I believe human doctors will win. What about you? I think the AI robot will win in the end because they have deep learning. They accumulate knowledge quickly. In the process, they come up with new ideas. I think AI robot will win, though I hope human doctors will win. Otherwise, humans will be replaced by AI. What's your concern? I'm afraid AI will spiral out of control. When humans can no longer contain the development of AI, it seems very scary, just like what we see in movies. We can ask experts later about their opinions on the likelihood of what you just depicted. Thank you very much. There are two groups, Group A and B. Group A focuses on intracranial tumors or brain tumors. There are 15 doctors, and Group A, 6 of the 15 doctors are selected from hospitals across China. 2 doctors in the group are from overseas, and 7 doctors are the top-notch experts in this field. Professor Miu, please give us an introduction about the doctors today. Compared to the artificial intelligence, what do you have to tell about the doctors? First of all, the doctors are very, very experienced experts. We selected doctors from over 300 hospitals. 7 out of the over 300 were selected. We also have experts from outside China. They are very accurate in terms of the interpretation of radiology imaging. So they are very experienced experts in neurological radiology. The competition will start very soon. Let's hold our breath and see what will happen.
CT 影像人工智能诊断整体应用产品，机器通过对海量数据的深度学习，人脑疾病由机器给出精确诊断。谶纬全球首次神经影像人工智能人机大赛。
Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, dear experts in neurology from across the world, good afternoon. Welcome to the National Convention Center and attend the China Cup, the world's first competition between physicians and artificial intelligence in neuroimaging area. This is the first competition of its kind, and this is the final competition. My name is Liu Jing. It's a great honor for me to be here at the competition as well, and also a great honor for me to be here with a top-notch host from the United States. My name is Liu Jing, the reporter from CGTN. Now, I am at the first China Cup's final on a competition between the AI robot and human doctors. Moderators now are introducing the rules of the competition. There are two groups, Group A and B. Dear viewers, this is the first China Cup final on a competition between human doctors and AI robot. Welcome to the first China Cup on the competition between human doctors and AI robot. The competition will start very soon. The China representative, Dr. Galia from WHO, will make opening remarks now.
Thank you for inviting me to come and speak to this event, and I don't want to stand for too long between you and the excitement of the contest.
我非常感谢我机会被邀请到这个非常重要的这个事件来讲几句话，不想在我和机器之间占时间太长。
Like you, I am feeling like a child in a toy shop, suddenly seeing the gleaming new possibilities that are offered before us in this contest and in this new tools that we are experimenting with today.
我就像一个到一个玩具店的一个孩子一样，对所有这些新的技术感到非常的惊讶和好奇。
An interviewer has asked me to predict who will win, and I have to say immediately that I hope the machine will win, because it will mean a triumph for human ingenuity at the same time as creating a new tool for use in clinics around the world.
有人问过我，组委会说是您认为谁会赢呢？我在猜想，应该是机器要赢。这个机器要赢的目的，是因为这是人类所创造的。人类所创造的机器赢了以后呢，会解决我们临床上很多的问题和帮我们临床医生做很多的工作。
At the same time, I am a physician and a public health physician representing the area of public health within my organization.
同时呢，我也是一个公共卫生的方面的医生，代表我们医院的一个公共卫生方面的工作者。
We know that AI is coming. It is going to fundamentally change both population health science as well as clinical medicine, and not in 10 years' time, but in 1 or 2 years' time.
我们都知道，人工智能已经到了现实，马上就到我们的世界中间来了，而不是所人想象的那样子，在10年、20年之内，现在已经进入我们生活中，它会进入到我们的这个病人的组里头和我们公众的卫生教育中间。
So we are right to be excited. I would like just to inject one note of caution as we do this.
所以我们当然应该感到非常兴奋，但是同时也应该有一点点，有点小心一点点。
The media like to scare about artificial intelligence, reminding us of killer robots and stark futures dominated by the machine in Hollywood movies.
有的时候媒体会过度宣传，认为人工智能和人工机器会对人类不是有益的东西，会有那种杀人的机器人，会过度的渲染这方面的可怕的故事。
I think we need to set aside those fears and today focus on real assessment of artificial intelligence as an exciting tool for public health and clinical medicine.
所以拨开那种迷雾和那些误解，我们应该真正来测试和检验一下这种人工智能对咱们临床的这个看病人的这种手法和公共的卫生教育到底有什么样的用处。
Basic public health principles should always be eventually used after we have developed a tool. For example, what does 90% prediction or predictive accuracy mean for a population?
所以的话，就这么讲呢，就是说，如果应用于公共卫生来讲的话，有一个机器或者一个实验可以预测到90%的这个可行度的时候呢，这个90%的意义如何呢？但愿机器能够告诉我们。
Every screening test has to be assessed for its sensitivity, its specificity, its ability to correctly predict or to create false negatives and false positives.
从临床的角度来讲，任何一个实验呢，都必须要经过敏感度和特异性的实验，表明它的确是有精确度的。
So we will need to learn how to evaluate artificial intelligence in the light of existing principles, for example, on screening and early detection of disease.
所以这种理论呢和原理同样应该适用于来测试人工智能。
One other example relates to access. As we develop new tools all the time, able to discern new syndromes and to develop new treatments, how are we making these treatments and these tools accessible to larger parts of the population?
另外一个考虑的问题是所谓的医学手段的可及性，有这种新的手段和机器和发明出来以后呢，对于我们现在的病人和患者，到底是不是可以用到他们的身上，这种可及性也需要更好的评估一下。
Even if BioMind today were not to win against the specialist, I would feel quite confident to say that it will be much better than your average physician working out in a rural area.
虽然今天这个BioMind的机器很可能会赢或者输，但是呢，对于那些在县级医院和小医院做行医的医生来讲啊，这个结果一定是很有意义的。
So the use of such a tool, even if it wasn't as successful, and I hope it is, even if it wasn't as successful as it could be, has the potential to reach out to vulnerable and deprived populations.
所以无论如何，这种实验是今天是失败或者成功，但它的应用是非常广泛的，特别是对那些贫穷的地区。
So I will stop with my cold shower and just focus on joining you for the excitement of the contest.
所以我的话就讲到这里，和大家一起来欣赏这个比赛。
I look forward to the results, and I say, may the best mind win.
我期待这个结果，同时我也想祝愿那个脑子最好的那个机器或者是人可以赢。Thank you。谢谢。
谢谢高丽博士，谢谢。
各位央视新闻的网友，大家好。
这里是全球首次神经影像人工智能
Dear viewers, good afternoon. This is the
那么
first
在马上就要
China
开始，我们的
Cups
网友也提
final
了很
on the
多问
competition
题
between human
啊，有
doctors
些
and
网友都
AI
提出了
robots.
这
The
个神
competition
秘的
will
AI
start
人工
momentarily.
这个机器
We
人
just received a lot of questions from the comment
那
section.
么这个问题呢，我一会儿再告诉大
Some
家。
viewers are curious about how the AI robot learns. Is there a teacher?
和这个专家的
I will answer these questions later. Now we're waiting for the doctors and experts to
我们来
proceed to
看
the
一下公
stage.
证人员的公证。
Naturalization team. The top experts today.
缪教授，这些专家，你来介绍一下这些专家好吗？他们在国际国内的这个重要程度。
Professor Miu, would you like to tell us more about the experts? How I will now tell you about the judges, Dr. Chen Jingliang, the first affiliated hospital to Henan University, a very renowned radiologist. Professor Jiao Bei, he's the most excited because he taught most of the experts here. Very famous neurology radiologist from Tiantan Hospital of Beijing. Dr. Paul from Belgium. Dr. Alexander from the United States. Professor Bian Xiuwu with the Chinese Academy of Sciences, also a renowned neurologist. Professor Yu Dehong, one of the most famous neurologist and a neuroradiologist in China. Professor Ma Li, the chief at the Department of Neuroradiology from the General Hospital of the PLA, or Hospital 301. And Professor Zhao is also a very important and renowned expert in this field. The 15 doctors now are on the stage. Welcome to the China Cups final on the first competition between artificial intelligence and human doctors on neuroradiology. And the 15 doctors are on the stage. People are asking who the teacher of the artificial intelligence-based machine is. Who's the teacher of the AI robot? Professor Gao, this is the teacher. Too many questions are asking about you, so I can't wait. I spent several months with the AI robot. I feel very excited it has come this far. I feel rather conflicted about this competition as a radiologist. I hope the doctors, human doctors, will win. But as the trainer or teacher of the AI machine, I don't want the AI robot to lose either. I don't know who will win because both are very strong. The doctor team is very, very strong. They are the best neuroradiologists from 7 hospitals in China. They were selected from over 300 hospitals. I don't know who will win in the end. Dr. Gao Jinghe is a very famous neuroradiologist in China. He is the trainer or the teacher of the AI robot. How did he teach the AI robot? We will ask him later. Thank you, Dr. Gao. How many questions will the robot answer and how many questions will the doctors answer? Let's ask Professor Mu. Would you please tell us more about the rules? How many questions will they have to answer? Professor Mu, would you please tell us more about the rules?
抽取一些这个病人的这个病例，那么这个病例呢，这些片子呢，实际上事先呢，医生也不知道，机器人也不知道。
We will present patients' medical records to both doctors and the AI robot. They don't know anything about the medical records beforehand. Then we'll ask them the questions and see whether they get it right.
这里是全球首次神经影像人工智能人机大赛的比赛现场。现在医生战队。
Welcome to the first China Cup's final on a competition between human doctors and AI robot on neuroradiology imaging diagnosis. The doctors now are seated. They will answer 15 questions each. In total, there will be 225 questions. The AI robot, on the other hand, will answer all 225 questions on its own. Let's see who will win in the end.
A 组和这个医生战队和这个 AI 比赛，主要是在 A 组比赛是比速度，那么 B 组比赛是比准确率。
In Group A, what matters the most is the speed, and in Group B, it's accuracy.
一会儿比赛现场会让这个观众来这个摁这个按键来，大家来看一下，是医生战队赢还是 AI 赢？我们一会儿看看这个比率吧。
The audience now are invited to make a prediction as to who will win.
一会儿他们现在要按，到底观众要看看他们认为是医生战队赢呢？
It's time for the audience to vote. They will vote on who they think will win the end, human doctors or the AI robot.
现在比例正在出来，比例正在出来，支持医生战队的还真不少。
We'll see the result very soon. A lot of people voted for human doctors. Quite a surprise to me. Professor Mu, what do you think? I thought most people would support AI robot, but it seems like lots of people are voting for human doctors. As a doctor, deep inside, we feel very conflicted. We want doctors to win. But we don't know the AI robot as well. That's probably why people vote for doctors. And we see perhaps more people actually voted for human doctors. Yes, the number is still rising.
我觉得这个多出来的这一部分呢，可能不是学医的，可能不是医生。
这里是全球首次神经影像人工智能人机大赛比赛现场。那么我们现在就到这个 AI。
Welcome to the first China Cup final for the competition between human doctors and AI robot on neuroradiology imaging. Let's see what the result will be in the end.
现在 AI 开始预测 ，AI 开始预测，这就是神秘的 AI 人工智能。
Artificial intelligence is making predictions now. This is the mysterious AI robot.
现在是在现场。BioMind 已经开始预测，它会有预测结果。
BioMind is making predictions now. The result will come out very soon. Do you know BioMind very well? How long did you spend time with BioMind? Several months. Do you want the machine to win? Of course. It's the baby of our team. The AI is reading the scans now? Yes. What scans are these? The AI will know. We uploaded all the medical records and scans onto the system. The AI needs to read the screens by itself. There are 225 questions. Yes? They're all new? Yes, of course. I heard there are over 100,000 data entries. Yes. That's very impressive indeed. The AI is answering questions right now. Let's see how long it takes for it to come up with the result. Later, please tell us how long it takes for the AI to get all the answers. Welcome to the first China Cup's final on the competition between artificial intelligence and human doctors on neuroradiology imaging. We call it robot doctor, right? Yes. Now, the robot doctor is answering questions. Let's see how long it takes for the AI to finish answering the 225 questions. It's done. Done already. Oh, not done. Sorry. I'm too excited. I thought the AI is finished. Please tell us how long it takes in the end. Okay. It's a different AI because it's in the medical field. So what's the biggest highlight of this AI? We have lots of data. The machine is learning with the humongous amounts of data. They learn much faster than humans with much higher accuracy. For us, it takes a long time to learn 100,000 cases before the AI is much faster. How amazing is it? We will know when the result comes out. Thank you. Lots of viewers are asking questions right now. They want to know why it looks like a computer instead of human. That's tricky. It's being live streamed right now. We have lots of viewers leaving questions in the comment section. They are asking why it doesn't look like a real robot. It would be a huge robot. It would be a really big and fat robot. But we can consider that in the future. It would be cute to have a chubby doctor. I just overheard the result will come out very soon. Let's wait and see. Another question, can it talk to humans already? What kind of a talk are you talking about? We'll say, can I ask questions directly with my scans? It will happen in the future. How long does it take? When will it happen? Probably in a couple of years of time. Now it cannot talk directly? It is possible. But the most important step right now is the accuracy of interpretation. Doctors at grassroots levels perhaps are not as experienced, so the AI robot can help them with the experience, and also, indeed, the AI robot perhaps has a much higher accuracy in terms of interpretation of the MRI and CT imaging than some doctors. So Group A focuses on intracranial tumors, the accuracy of diagnosis, and Group B is prediction and prognosis on the probability of enlargement of hamartoma. So the speed matters? No. Both groups will be tested for the accuracy. Group A focuses on intracranial tumors, and Group B is the hamartoma. This different types of diseases. Yes, indeed. Group A will have to diagnose tumors such as glioma. For an inexperienced doctor, the accuracy perhaps is not very high, correct? Yes, especially in grassroots clinics. The AI has already finished half of the questions. It's the first time the AI robot sees these questions, right? Yes. Welcome to the first China Cup's final on the competition between human doctors and AI robot on the interpretation of scannings in neural radiology, and it seems like the AI robot is going to finish very soon. On the other side of the stage are the 15 doctors who are waiting for the result of the AI robot to come out. After the AI is finished, we will go to the other side of the stage and see how the doctors are doing. Seems like the AI is about to finish now. The AI robot has already finished 156 questions. 20 minutes left for this round. It took the AI robot about 10 minutes to answer 156 questions out of the 225. Lots of people are waiting here. They also would like to know how long it will take the AI to complete the questions. Let's look at the AI. I overheard people saying whoever wins doesn't really matter. Either way, it means more assistance to doctors and patients in the future. Even if the winner is the AI robot, it's still a victory for the doctors because it's trained and taught by human doctors. Welcome to the final of the first China Cup on the competition between human doctors and AI robot on neural radiology. The first group of doctors focus on intracranial tumors. Their accuracy will be tested. How many questions? Already? 200. AI has already finished 200 questions. In total, 225 questions. AI robot is about to finish very soon.
AI 是不是已经答完了？已经答完了。AI 人工机器人已经答完了。
The staff is checking whether the AI robot has finished. It has. How long did it take?
人工智能机器人
Less than 15 minutes.
全部225道题不到15。
Within 15 minutes, the AI doctor has already finished all 225 questions. What kind of questions are they? There are over 30 types of questions,
是他自己诊断，所以
and there are no choice questions.
这个准确性到底怎么样？一会儿是由专家来看。
All of them are diagnoses. What about the accuracy? Later, the judges will see how accurate
答完了225
the AI doctor's answers are.
颅内肿瘤
Within 15 minutes, it has finished all 222 questions on the interpretation of CT scanning on intracranial tumors. Now, let's take a look at the doctors and see how they're doing.
这里是全球首次影像人工智能人机大赛的比赛现场。A 组的比赛。
Welcome to the final of the China Cup on the competition between human doctors and an AI robot on neuroradiology imaging interpretation. Within 15 minutes, the AI doctor has already finished all 222 questions. Let's see how the doctors are doing right now.
我们看到医生战队这边大家就在也是在快速的答题，我们也不方便现在大家。
The doctors are reading. Very concentrated. I don't want to disturb them. I'll ask them questions later.
CT 的判读，它在这个临床的这个诊断中到底有多重要呢？
Group A focuses on the interpretation of cranial tumors, intracranial tumors. How important is the interpretation is?
核磁之前，你比方说在30年之前，那么大家如果脑袋
Before CT and MRI were invented, let's say 30 years ago, if something is growing in the brain, for example, when Cao Cao had something grown inside his brain, they had to have people open up the skull to see. After CT and MRI were invented, now with imaging technology, we can see clearly what's inside the brain without physically opening the skull. 30 years ago, if there was hemorrhaging, we wouldn't know where exactly the hemorrhaging was. We would have to open up the left side and the right side of the skull to find the bleeding point. But now, it's easy to locate the hematoma, as well as the size of hematoma, whether there is a tumor or other abnormalities in the brain. It helps the surgeons to decide the location, the entry point for surgeries. It also helps us to see inflammation inside the brain, for example, meningitis. Then we had MRI. MRI can show us the cross-section of the brain, as well as the sagittal and coronal sections of the brain, as if the brain is sliced into very small pieces for the doctors to find even the smallest abnormalities. How can the AI help with the clinical practice in your mind? If AI is developed and advanced enough, well, in my opinion, the AI is already very accurate. Some said the accuracy of imaging interpretation is already as high as 97%, which is as good as a chief physician in a hospital that can emancipate doctors from imaging reading. How do you see AI developing to the future? As some experts rightly pointed out, artificial intelligence is a tool. In some way, it helps with fast interpretation and analysis, but artificial intelligence cannot replace doctors entirely. It cannot complete tasks of diagnosis and treatment on its own. There are robots that help with surgeries, but these surgeries need the precision that only human doctors can achieve with the help of microscopes. I don't think artificial intelligence can replace human doctors entirely. Some tasks need and can only be achieved by human doctors. Doctors are still answering questions. We're waiting for the results. Welcome to the first China's Cup final on the competition between human doctors and AI robot on neuroradiology imaging interpretation. Just now, the AI doctor completed all 225 questions within 15 minutes of time. But how is the accuracy? Judges and experts are looking at the results, and the doctor's team is still answering the questions. 7 minutes left. Doctors are concentrated on answering the questions. I don't want to disturb them. Let's see who has already finished. This doctor has, but he's checking his results, checking his answers. Professor Mu said this doctor has already finished and is checking his results. Please tell us. What he's looking at is MRI imaging. And what we see right now is on the sagittal section of the brain, and we don't see any clear lesions. MRI scans different layers of the brain as well as different sequences, which helps to detect tumor. What you see on the imaging that is white should be tumor. But what type of tumor is it? It requires the diagnosis of doctors. So AI also had to answer the same question, yes. And from this angle, I think it is a meningioma. It has very strong signals, and but I don't know at this point what it is exactly, but from my experience, I think it's meningioma, based on the shape and the strength of the signals, as well as the content of the blood. The doctor needs to look at the different layers and sequences of imaging to verify his answers. Sometimes it takes only seconds for doctors to reach a conclusion. But when the lesion is complicated and difficult to read, it could take up to hours. Take me, for example. If it's hard to reach a conclusion, I may review the scans the next day. Sometimes we will have a consult. But artificial intelligence doesn't need these troubles. Doctors can have consult today? Yes, they can ask questions to each other and have consult. Doctors now can have a consult. Some of them are having discussions. Welcome to the first China Cup's final on the competition between human doctors and AI robot. This is the first round of the competition with Group A. The AI answered all 225 questions on its own. Doctors in Group A will answer these questions together as a team. Each doctor answers 15 questions. There are 15 doctors in Group A. Each is assigned 15 questions out of the 225. Now they are having a consult, discussing what they see on the screens. The judges now are looking at the answers of the AI robot. The judges already looked at all the answers of AI robot. Let's ask Professor Zhao and see how the AI robot did. Dr. Gao, you just look at the answers of the AI robot, so how did it do? I hope the doctors will win. It took the AI less than 15 minutes. Could you please tell us about the accuracy? It's not published yet. But did you look at the answers of the AI robot? No. Nobody knows what the results are. So, what about the accuracy of the AI robot? When we tested the AI robot before, the accuracy was over 90%. but I don't know how it did it now. The results are still being processed? Yes. The human doctors haven't finished yet. Could you reveal how you trained the AI robot? With the different cases. When AI robot made a mistake, we will discuss the reasons. We trained the AI robot with large amounts of data and cases and analyzed why it got it right or wrong. How fast could it learn? Very fast. So much faster than humans. The AI robot can learn as much in 1 month's time than what humans can learn in tens of years. The doctors have submitted their answers. Their answers are being processed right now. The judge panel is made of experts, top-notch experts from China and abroad. Professor Miu, would you please tell us on how or who will decide who the winner is? I think the back end already knows who won. CT and MRI cannot provide 100% certainty on the diagnosis of brain tumor. What matters the most is the nerve biopsy. But judge panels now can look at the answers of the AI robot and human doctors. There is a standard answer. The judge panels already got the answers beforehand. I'm not a doctor, so all these scans are taken from diagnosed cases, so the answers were ready before they started to answer the questions, correct? Yes. So they'll now cross-check the answers of the two teams with the answers they already got. The human doctors have already finished the questions. A doctor from abroad.
In Singapore, how is it going with artificial intelligence?
Not very well. So we all have a need for better artificial intelligence, not just in diagnosis, but in the day-to-day process and workflow of our patients. For instance, our PACS still does not have smart intelligence to connect to the electronic medical record.
这里是全球首次神经影像人工智能人机大赛的比赛现场。现在 A 组的比赛已经结束了，这是来自国外的参赛
Welcome
选
to the
手，
first
医
Chinese
生战
Cups
队
final
的。
of the competition between
这
AI
是来自
robot
新
and
加
human
坡的参
doctors
赛选手，
on
正在谈感
the
受。
interpretation of the neuroradiology. This is a doctor from Singapore. He's telling the moderator how he feels about the competition.
那么刚才 AI 人工智能机器人医生用了不到15分钟。
Group A will interpret MRI and CT scans on intracranial tumors. It took the AI robot less than 15 minutes to complete all 225 questions.
现在来自国内国外的顶级专家正在对这个医生战队的答题情况进行判题。
The doctors are checking the answers of the AI robot and the human doctors.
医生战队一共是15名，要答15道不同的颅内肿瘤的 CT。 对这个颅内肿瘤
15 doctors in Group A need to answer 225 questions together. All questions are on the diagnosis of intracranial tumors.
And it will be an even better team after this.
Thank you.
那刚才这个，我们请缪仲文教授，给我们翻译一下刚才这位新加坡选手谈的感受。
这个医生呢是新加坡的一位放射科医生。那么 David 在问他就是，第一个呢，他对今天的这个
We just heard
非常棒的一个比赛。
the feelings of a radiologist from Singapore. He said it's a really great competition. He also believes that Singapore is not as developed as people had expected in terms of artificial intelligence in the medical field. He also said, well, when David asked which team will win, he said he believes the doctors, human doctors, will win. Now I really would like to know the result. Speed-wise, AI is much faster. It took the human doctors about 30 minutes. Not really. Some doctors answer the questions less than 30 minutes time. Doctors in the team are different. So human doctors used up all 30 minutes. The expert judges are looking at answers in both teams right now. They have the standard answers. The expert judges had to review all 225 questions. It will take some time.
高教授，不好意思又来打搅您了。我们现在直播，因为网友这个互动非常热烈，一直有问题。
Dr. Gao, sorry to interrupt. We're live streaming the event and we're receiving a lot of questions from the audience. Some viewers are really impressed by how short time it took for the AI robot to answer all these questions. Do you think in the future it can replace human doctors? In the future? By the laws and regulations in China, AI can only assist human doctors. Human doctors can take the answers of the AI robot as reference. So AI can assist doctors in diagnosis. Human doctors can modify their diagnosis based on the recommendation of the AI. So they cannot replace human doctors entirely. Well, that's the direction. Currently, it's not possible. Now, it only serves as an auxiliary support. Thank you. The doctors are taking questions from the floor. These questions are actually very good. Would you like to answer the question from Mr. Wang Yang? How can artificial intelligence benefit patients in the future? The question is about the concrete benefit artificial intelligence can bring to the public at large. I'll repeat the question from the floor and would like to hear the answer from Dr. Gao Peiyi. Professor Gao, sorry to disturb you again. The question from the floor was on how the artificial intelligence can truly benefit patients in the future. What do you think? I hope it can first help doctors with repetitive and laborious jobs, so doctors have more time to study, spend time with patients and their own family, so doctors' life will be better. What about benefits to the patients? There are even more benefits for the patients. The artificial intelligence machine here is based on data from Beijing Tiantan Hospital, so diagnosis accuracy is almost as high as it from Tiantan Hospital of Beijing. When doctors are less experienced, it will be hard for them to reach accurate diagnosis, but now with the help of the AI, it can increase accuracy in imaging interpretation for less experienced doctors. Inaccurate diagnosis in smaller hospitals lead to a waste of money and time for the patients. That is why often patients from smaller cities and towns in China come to big hospitals in Beijing, Shanghai, and Guangzhou to seek better and more accurate diagnosis at bigger hospitals here. And in the future, that won't be necessary when all the hospitals in China are equipped with accurate AI robot doctors. This question is about who will be held accountable if an AI robot makes a mistake.
Miu教授，这是中国中科院的院士，然后边修武教授，他是重庆这个3医大的这个病理学的教授，在我们国家呢也是非常著名的这个神经影像方面的专家。
Very renowned neuroradiologist from the Chinese Academy of Sciences, a fellow from CAS.
那么专家是认为，其实，在对这个 CT 这个判读的判断上，其实他认为人是我们听缪教授来给我们这个解读一下。
因为他这种判读的时候啊，这个
So, Professor Miu, would you like to tell us what the expert said?
一个比较固定的一个模式。
In CT and MRI interpretation, AI machine can only find patterns, for example, patterns of tumors. But when doctors look at the scans, they also think of their clinical experience and other factors, for example, whether the patient has a fever, history of infection, inflammation, and so on and so forth. So doctors make a judgment with a whole portfolio of factors, but machines only focus on the patterns they can recognize. So human doctors will look at it in a more holistic way. But artificial intelligence only focuses on the data they have, for example, the medical records of the patients. Where does this expert come from? A U.S. expert in radiology. A U.S. radiology is answering questions right now. What is she saying right now? I didn't really listen. Sorry.
边院士说，这个要求患者理性的看待这个比赛结果。
这里面呢有
Dr. Bian said patients well, this is different from AlphaGo. AlphaGo studied millions and millions of possibilities from masters in the game of Go. This machine is based on the clinical experience of Dr. Gao himself, one professor only. If this machine has learned the experience of hundreds of thousands of doctors, the accuracy could be even higher. That's the future. And no matter how developed it is, it will never be able to replace human doctors entirely, correct? Yes.
现在那个专家的判题马上就要出来了。
The results will come out very soon.
这里是全球首次神经影像人工智能人机大赛的比赛现场，这个评委老师。
Welcome to the first China Cup on the competition between human doctors and AI robot on the interpretation of neuroradiology imaging.
.因为这个诊断呢，很多评委的这个意见可能还不是非常的统一，那么对可能有一些争议。我想呢，
Seems like the experts on the judge panel cannot agree with each other on all the answers of the 225 questions. It will take them some time to reveal and confirm all the answers. So now we don't have a result yet. It will take more time to confirm all the answers. Welcome to the first China Cup on the world's first competition between physicians and artificial intelligence in neuroimaging area. The first group has already finished in their round.
专家和医生战队在比赛，在合影。那么我们再请缪教授给我们
A group photo with doctors. Professor Miu, would you please tell us how the artificial intelligence will develop into the future? Now, this machine is based on all the cases from Tiantan Hospital. What if it has the data from hospitals across the world? Tiantan Hospital has more than 100,000 neurosurgeries yearly, which is already the biggest number compared to all other hospitals in the world. If the machine has more data, then it can reach even higher accuracy, I believe. Thank you.
CT 影像人工智能诊断整体应用产品，机器通过对海量数据的深度学习，人脑疾病由机器给出精确诊断。谶纬 全球首次神经影像人工智能人机大赛。
接下来就要进入我们今天的第二轮比拼，也就是 B 组医生战队向 BioMind 发起。
这个第二轮比赛呢，实际上是脑出血的诊断。那么脑子里面的疾病是非常多的。那么尤其是刚才我
The
们
second group will
看的是
focus
一类疾
on
病是肿瘤。
intracranial hemorrhaging. There are a lot of diseases that might occur on the brain, apart from tumors, which was the diagnosis the group A had to make. There is also possibilities of hemorrhaging. There is a wide range of diseases that might occur related to human brain. In the next group, as I said, we will focus on the possibility or the prognosis of the enlargement of hamartoma. Welcome to China's first competition on the interpretation on the neuroradiology imaging between AI robots and doctors. I already mentioned that human brains are like a tofu, very soft. When there is hemorrhaging, it's like an egg that is inserted into the human brain. The larger the egg is, the more pressure there is, and when the pressure is too high, it can be fatal to the patient. Is it likely, and how likely it is for the egg to get larger? That is what the group B is doing right now. The moderators are introducing the doctors in the second group, in Group B. There were some controversies regarding the answers of the previous 225 questions. So experts are now having discussions about the answers. The answers should have come out already. Due to the controversies, the answers will come out later. The answers cannot be published at this moment. The competition between the AI and human doctors from Group B will start soon. Doctors from Group B. They are from top 10 hospitals in China. Doctors in Group B are really experienced and prestigious. The answer or the result from the first round is going to come out very soon. The accuracy of the AI machine is not over 90%. BioMind is more accurate than human doctors, but not by a large margin. Can I understand it this way? BioMind didn't really excel that much in comparison with human doctors, so our human doctors are really good. Yes, indeed. All these are top experts in China and abroad. The result is largely dependent on the data samples or the data volume the AI machine was trained with. The accuracy was 87% for the AI. So the AI got 87% of the questions correct. Dr. Gao already mentioned that the accuracy of the AI machine was over 90% when being tested in the laboratory. But the questions today might be a bit more complicated. That is why it's not as accurate as it was tested with. Welcome to the China Cup on the world's first competition between physicians and artificial intelligence and neuroimaging area. The result from the first round already came out. The accuracy of the AI machine failed to reach above 90%. The second round of competition with Group B will start very soon. Group B will focus on the possibility of the enlargement of hamartoma. The next day, hamartoma refers to a blockage that is formed inside the brain, which is very likely to lead to another round of hemorrhaging. That is why the diagnosis is very important. How to prevent hamartoma? We would like to hear from Professor Mu. Cerebral hemorrhaging is a major disease related to human brain. We often hear the word hemorrhaging, which is destructive to the health of the brain. When hemorrhaging is severe, it is fatal. One of the leading risk factors of hemorrhaging is hypertension. Lots of people living with hypertension do not take medication regularly. And when blood pressure is too high, it may lead to bursts of vessels and then hemorrhaging, and also hematoma. And that is precisely what doctors from Group B will make a diagnosis about. And for hemorrhaging, the time is crucial, correct? Who are most susceptible to cerebral hemorrhaging? As I said before, after hemorrhaging occurs, it is crucial that the patient is sent to the nearest hospital for CT or MRI imaging. You need to make a precise diagnosis as to whether it is hemorrhaging or infarction. infarction is caused by blockage in cerebral vessels.
来介绍一下 B 组的这个专家评委，请缪中荣教授来给我们介绍这个专家。那我们从现在从这个
Professor Miu, would you please tell us more about the doctors in Group B?
我想呢给大家呢介绍一下我们今天的这个评委专家。那么首先是我们的武汉这个。
I would like to tell you about the judges on the panel. Dr. and Professor Hu Bo, very famous neurologist in China. Professor Zhao Xinchen from Tiantan Hospital, also a very renowned neurologist. Professor Zhao Gang, also a leading neurologist in China.
那么接下来呢，我想给大家介绍的是我们的谢芬教授，也是中国这个非常有名的神经内科的
Professor Xie Feng,
那么下一位是我
a
们
renowned expert in neurology in China.
来自英国的这个尼考尔教授，也是神经病学专家。
Professor Nicol from London,
下一位是我们
also a renowned neurologist.
赵继坤教授，也是我们国家著名的脑血管病专家。
Professor Zhao Xifeng, fellow of China Academy of Engineering Sciences, also an expert in cerebral diseases.
内科的神经病学的一个专家丹尼尔教授。
Professor Daniel, very famous neurologist from Duke University.
这个张苏明教授也是我们国家非常著名的脑血管病专家。
Professor Zhang Suming,
那么
also renowned cerebral vascular disease expert. Professor Hu Juxiao,
那么下一位是我们中国
one of the top neurologists in China.
上海华山医院的教授，也是非常有名的神经内科。
Professor Dong Qiang with the Chinese Association of Strokes, also a very renowned neurologist.
现在 B 组的医生战队已经开始答题了，我们现在也到 AI 去看看 AI 人工智能的答题情况吧。这里是全球首次神经影像人工智能人机大赛的比赛现场，现在正在进行的是 B 组的。
Welcome to the first China's Cup on the competition between AI robot and human doctors on neuroradiology imaging interpretation. The second round of the competition will start momentarily.
那么 B 组的医生战队是由国内神经疾病排名前10医院的10名专家组成。
The experts in Group B are from top 10 hospitals across China.
B 组的比赛内容为脑血管疾病 CT 影像判读及血种预测。那么10位的医生战队呢，每人答10。
Group B will focus on the prediction of the enlargement of hamartoma. The next day, each doctor in Group B will answer 10 questions, and all 10 questions are identical.
对，3分钟不到。
AI already finished all 30 questions. How long did it take? Less than 3 minutes. Within less than 3 minutes, the AI finished all 30 questions on the prediction of hematoma enlargement.
血种预测，我们请缪教授来介绍一下这个血种预测。
30 questions in less than 3 minutes. Professor Mu, how important it is to have a prediction on the possibility of enlargement of hematoma. As I said, after brain hemorrhaging occurs, it's like an egg is inserted into human brain. The smaller the egg is, the less damage it causes. Sometimes the egg grows larger. When that happens, pressure within the brain increases and threatening the life of the patient. Sometimes the egg stops increasing in size. It's important for doctors to know the possibility of enlargement. If the possibility is high, then a surgery is needed to remove the hematoma. It's different from infarction. Infarction is blockage of cerebral disease, cerebral vessels. But hematoma is bursts of cerebral vessels. Both lead to atrophy of brain tissues and also pressure within the cranial. How to prevent these diseases? People with hypertension, diabetes, and high blood lipids are more prone to cerebral hemorrhaging and hematoma. There are many risk factors to hemorrhaging. One of it is hypertension, as I said. There are also other risk factors, though. The former Prime Minister of Israel, Sharon, suffered from cerebral hemorrhaging. But his hemorrhaging was caused by the amyloidosis. But hypertension is definitely the most leading factor of hemorrhaging, so it's important to watch blood pressure. So how should we watch out in our daily life? It's important to have a healthy lifestyle. Smoking and alcohol are strongly recommended to give up. Also, the intake of salt. We know in Inner Mongolia and northeastern China, the prevalence of hypertension is relatively higher because of the higher intake of salt in local diets. And it is a risk factor to hypertension, thus hemorrhaging. It is important to have a healthy lifestyle. Many young people stay up at night playing with mobile phones and PCs. They all increase the likelihood of hypertension. Also, it's important to contain indicators such as blood pressure, blood lipid, and blood sugar. That helps to lower the likelihood of hemorrhaging. Thank you. Professor Mu. I look at the statistics from China and the U.S. In the past century, the prevalence of hemorrhaging in the U.S. has been decreasing. However, in China, it shows the opposite trend. Why? The U.S. has taken measures to control or contain hypertension, but in China, not many efforts has been done in this regard. I think the government and health institutions should encourage the public to control blood pressure. I heard it is important to develop what they call Mediterranean diet. Can you tell us what it is? It's low lipid, low salt diet that contains more white meat than red meat. Moderate intake of red wine is also recommended. Such a diet is beneficial to health. Chinese diet is often very greasy and oily, and not balanced enough because we are taking more oil and much less vegetables and fruits, and it has been proven that the insufficient intake of vegetables and fruit in Chinese diet explains the high prevalence of hypertension and cerebral hemorrhaging. So the prevalence of strokes in the U.S. Has been decreasing among all populations. In China, it's quite the opposite. Both the elderly population and the young population are witnessing higher prevalence of strokes. How? Lots of young people now do not have a healthy lifestyle. Also, some young people are not aware of the fact that they have hypertension. So lifestyle matters. Many young people suffer from hypertension, and genetic factor is very important. It's likely for someone to have hypertension when their parents do. Also, young people tend to stay up late at night, so lifestyle such as smoking, alcohol, and sedentary lifestyle all could lead to higher possibility of hemorrhaging. So apart from genetic factors, the lifestyle, as you mentioned, is very essential. Are there any measures that we can take to prevent the occurrence of hypertension? If your parents are diagnosed with hypertension from an early age, it's recommended for the young people to have an early check in hospital. Some young people are not aware that they have hypertension, so they don't take any measures to prevent and control their blood pressure. I recommend young people to check their blood pressure and make sure they don't have hypertension. If they do, they must take medication regularly. Doctors in Group B just finished their answers. It took the AI less than 3 minutes to answer all 30 questions. Now doctors in Group B are having discussions. They're having a consult. Just finished and having a consult right now.
A 组比赛结束 ，AI 是达到了87%，AI 人类66%。
In the first round of the competition, the accuracy of the AI robot was 87%, whereas doctors 66%. Now it's the second round of the competition. Doctors are having a consult. It seems like the discussion is very heated. This is a very typical image of cerebral hemorrhaging caused by hypertension, and it occurred in the left hemisphere, which may lead to a loss of speech and also paralysis in half of the body. If the hemorrhaging can be contained and no possibility of enlargement of hamartoma, then no surgery is needed, and within 2 weeks or 1 month of time, and the brain tissue will absorb the hamartoma, and the patients won't have any problems later on. But if the probability of enlargement is over 30%, then surgery is needed. So if the probability is low, no surgery is needed. It will be more conservative. The patients will simply take medications. If surgery is needed, there are several ways, but all of them are invasive. We can drill a hole on the skull suck out the hamartoma. If the hamartoma is large, then sometimes we need to open up the skull and suck out the hamartoma. So early diagnosis and early intervention are very crucial. We need to contain the size of the hamartoma and as early as possible. But some patients have severe hemorrhaging from the beginning, and we don't even have enough time to save him. So we need to look at the size of the hamartoma. If it's too large, surgery is needed. If it's not large enough, then conservative intervention would suffice. And the probability of enlargement is very important. So it's more preventative, and I think it will be harder for AI to replace human doctors in terms of preventative treatment. I totally agree with you, because we need to consider a variety of factors, for example, family history. And family history is a crucial factor to the development of hypertension. Now doctors in Group B are reviewing their answers, and seems like they have different opinions. The AI finished all 30 questions within 3 minutes of time. Doctors now are and we see several white spots, which indicates multiple hemorrhaging or hemorrhaging multiple times. In the previous scan, there was only one hemorrhage, but here multiple times. So what do? If the pressure on the brain tissue is not that high, we simply observe while using medication to lower the blood pressure, and hospitalization is necessary. Anti-inflammatory medications are needed, and also medications to lower the pressure. Young people should take a note of caution. If the lifestyle is not healthy enough, it may lead to hemorrhaging. What is the golden hours for the emergency treatment? If the intracranial pressure is too high, the earlier the intervention is, the better it is for the patient. If the treatment is not in time, it may even lead to paralysis and even death. Infarction is more severe, and we count that by minutes. When the patient is sent to the hospital, 30 minutes after it occurs, it will be very hard to save them. But for hemorrhaging, if a hemorrhaging is not severe and without high probability of enlargement, we usually advise patients stay in in hospitals for observations. Professor Zhong seems to have finished his answer. I would like to interview him. The questions are on the prognosis of hematoma enlargement 24 hours after hemorrhaging. I think both teams will have about the same accuracy. I think doctors will have a much higher accuracy. I think the AI will get about or even over 90% of accuracy. Let's interview another expert. Dr. Dong believes both teams will reach very high accuracies, both exceeding 90% of accuracy. Professor Hupo, what's your take on the competition? A very exciting competition. We are watching closely the accuracy of BioMind and the human doctors. It seems like the doctors haven't submitted their answers yet. We really hope BioMind can get a very high accuracy so that in the future it can assist the doctors in diagnoses. Professor Hu hopes BioMind can emancipate doctors in the future with higher accuracy, so doctors will have more time for research, development, and other jobs. Doctors can focus on creative works instead of repetitive works. Thank you very much. Professor Zhao is a renowned expert on cerebral hemorrhaging and hematoma in China. We just realized that the machine is not perfect either. We don't think machines can replace humans entirely. The computing of the machines definitely can assist the doctors. There are a lot of atypical cases which requires the knowledge and experience of human doctors. You mentioned machines are not perfect. How so? There are a lot of atypical cases. Also, the timeline is important. When the scans do not show enlargement yet, it will be harder for machines to tell. I'm not a doctor, so what you're saying is clinical experience of doctors are very important. So fuzzy logic is important. What do you mean? Fuzzy logic is the fuzzy predictions that human beings can make, but machines are not able to, especially for patients with hematoma. Yes. The science of hematoma really depends on when you take the sample. If the sample is taken after 30 minutes, after 1 hour, and after 4 hours, the symptoms can be entirely different. So, on diagnosis of hematoma, doctors are more accurate. Thank you very much. For patients with hematoma, doctors' clinical experience is crucial. Over the years, we are learning more about hematoma. There are still things that we don't know very well. Lots of symptoms are not typical enough, so clinical experience and knowledge of doctors are crucial. Dr. Zhao just said experience of doctors in terms of prognosis of enlargement of a hematoma is really crucial.
B 组的专家还在判题。刚才专家已经预测告诉我们，就是医生战队和 AI 人工智能机器人的这个比赛的结果，他认为不会差距很大，他觉得医生战队打得也非常好。
Dr. Hu believes both teams teams will reach similar levels of accuracy in the second round. Let's interview Professor Mu again. In your clinical experience over the years, are there more young patients suffering from hemorrhaging or more elderly? In general, there are more elderly citizens, meaning people above 50 years of age suffering from cerebral hemorrhaging. However, that being said, in the past decade, the prevalence among young populations has been increasing. The sheer probability among young cohorts of the population is still lower than that of the elderlies. Still, more elderlies suffer from hemorrhaging, especially those above 50 years of age. Yes. But the prevalence among young populations is increasing rapidly. Perhaps because the vascular structures of older patients are more vulnerable. One of the factors is the aging of the vascular tissues. Second, poor control of blood pressure, which I have mentioned repetitively. Third, if there is an aneurysm and it bursts, it leads to hemorrhaging. These are the reasons why the prevalence among elderly populations is much higher. So, for patients over 50 years of time, they should take in less salt, but more red wine? No. I didn't say more red wine, I just said a moderate intake of red wine is good. It's healthy. Half a glass of red wine daily is healthy because of the tannic acid. Exactly. It helps to soften the vascular walls. So moderate intake of red wine helps to reduce blood pressure. No, it's good for softening the vascular walls. Moderate intake helps to soften the walls of blood vessels. The result will come out very soon. They are different in terms of the treatment for patients who came to the hospital 6 hours and 24 hours after hemorrhaging. I think the treatment is the same. If the hemorrhaging is severe, more than 30 milliliters in one hemisphere, then surgery is needed. If the hemorrhaging is less than 30 milliliters, but the pressure is high, then open skull surgery is needed, so treatment will be the same. Depends on the degree of hemorrhaging, severity of hemorrhaging. 30 milliliter. When it's above 30 milliliter, open skull surgery is needed. Healthy lifestyle, very important. Low salt intake, low lipid. And quit smoking and drinking. Doctors from Group B are very confident that they think they will defeat AI.
来自河南郑州的郑医生在谈他的答题后的感想。因为 B 组都是来自B 组的医生战队是来自全国前10名医院的专家。
All doctors from Group B are from the top 10 hospitals in China.
B 组的医生非常有信心，说他们能战胜 AI 人工智能机器人医生，他们觉得他们答得非常好。这个专家还在统计判题，专家还在仔细的判题，专家还在仔细的判题。
这个我称不上专家，我只是对这方面比较感兴趣。然后有这么多位专家这个齐心协力共同去解决这个问题，我相信我们还是有一定的这个信心。但是呢，这个题目呢，实际上它有的血统其实判断起来是否扩大了还是会有一些争议。所以我们大概有9到10道题，可能我们就大概一起分析的这个，那其中有这个3到5道题，我们还产生比较激烈的大家这个斗语老师之间比较激烈的一个争论。所以说，对于这种非常规则的、非常这个均匀的这个小血种来说的话，它们扩大的几率是比较小的。那么这种病例的话，在我们这个像片子当中，还有一部分它出现了一些典型的要扩大的血统的真相，比如说这个分散 blood sign violence 这种真相的，它这个扩大的几率的话，它也是比较大的。但是有一部分这个血种，它既不是属于那种就是很好判断的扩大的血种，同时呢也是不属于那种一定要扩大的血种。但这部分血种的话，就比较有争议。
那么这个脑出血或者脑梗死对季节对它有没有影响？那么天气现在这么热，今年夏天这么热，对这一类的病人会不会有影响呢？
Does season matter in terms of the prevalence of cerebral hemorrhaging and infarction when it's hot? When temperature is high in summertime, it is more likely for people to develop a hemorrhaging or infarction. If temperature changes rapidly, the prevalence of cerebral hemorrhaging is higher. Now, it's very high. Hydration is important. Without sufficient hydration, the blood tends to be thicker, which leads to higher probability of thrombus in vessels and also higher prevalence of infarction. That is why when temperatures are high, it's recommended to stay indoors and avoid working in high temperature conditions. People who work outdoors are recommended to taking lots amounts of water to prevent the occurrence of strokes. When temperature is high, it also leads to higher blood pressure. As I mentioned over and over again, high blood pressure leads to higher probability of both hemorrhaging and infarction.
这个大家的烦躁，一烦躁呢，血压也会升高，这样呢就会造成这种脑出血发生率的这种。
People get cranky when temperature is high, and crankiness also leads to higher blood pressure. Thus, cerebral hemorrhaging. So crankiness should be avoided. We should always control our emotions and remain peaceful. When the temperature is high outside, people tend to stay in AC room for a long time. Does that affect the possibility of cerebral hemorrhaging? And when we stay too long in a room with AC, it's sometimes
气温
likely
高炎热也不能老在空调屋里待着。尤其对老年人，对吧？
for
那么就是说
us
现
to
在很多
develop
老年人也
cold
经常去跳广场舞啊，怎么？那么
and
在
the
这种
inflammation in the system
天
and
气炎热
thus
的情况下，
hemorrhaging.
是不是他们也不适宜到户外活动？
And it's especially important for elderly. Some of them like to dance on the squares and outdoors. When it's too high, the temperature is too high, we don't recommend them doing so, right? Yes, yesterday I just saved a 82-year-old who collapsed because she spent too much time in the outdoor in a hot summer day. After the surgery, we opened up her blood vessels and cleared the blockage. Now she is recovered. When the temperature is too high, it's really not recommendable to have outdoor activities. Give it young or old populations. No matter how passionate you are about sports such as marathon, it's not recommendable to exercise in hot weather. Exercising in hot weather increases the thickness of blood and also blood pressure. Cerebral hemorrhaging, infarction, and strokes, do they differ in terms of prevalence between female and male cohorts? The probability between genders is almost the same, but strokes have a higher prevalence among a female above 40 years old. I think that is correlated to lower levels of estrogens or instability of the levels of estrogen, especially with the aneurysms. So what should we watch for? So they don't usually suffer from cerebrovascular diseases. Give it male or female. It's important to look after yourselves. Life is not easy. I think ladies should be cared for even more. We need to take care of ourselves. If estrogen levels decrease and symptoms are shown, it's important to have supplementary intake of estrogen. It helps to slow down aging. Also, it helps to prevent diseases such as depression, anxiety, and cerebrovascular diseases. When supplementary estrogen is taken, it's important to get to consult doctor beforehand. Yes. Moderators now are interviewing audience. Let's hear from the audience. I hope the AI can win. I don't think there is going to be a big difference in terms of the accuracy. I think the key factor here is the data set. If the AI has much bigger data set, the accuracy could be significantly higher. I voted for human doctors in the first round. After I saw the result and heard the analysis of experts, based on the data that I see, I think the AI will win in the end. What about the second round of the competition? Would you like to make a prediction? I think they will have similar accuracies. It won't be as big a difference than the first round. I think the AI will win. Yes, thank you. We heard different opinions. Some believe human doctors will win, some believe that the AI will. Experts are still discussing. Right now, let's wait for the result. Did the AI make any mistakes? Yes, more than 10% of errors. How so? Because they didn't have enough data to learn from? Hard to say. I don't know how the AI was trained and how many data it had. I don't know how many scans it learned from, or perhaps it's the software design that is flawed. Would you please tell us about yourself? I'm from Yit Sam Hospital's second affiliation hospital. My name is Hu Xueqiang, so Professor Hu. You just look at the answers of AI. It got 5 wrong out of 30 in total. Is that yes, that's very inaccurate. It's a machine, and it's hematoma. And if 5 out of the 30 are wrong, then it's very inaccurate. It's different from the first round of competition because brain tumor is really complicated. And hematoma is rather simple. So 5 out of 30 is not very good. So 83% of accuracy only. So AI needs to get better. This is only a beginning. I think in the future it will definitely get better and better. It can learn more about imaging, radiology, and morphology. And I think it has very big potential. Though it is not accurate enough, you have every faith in its future, yes. I don't know what the final result will be. It's very challenging. I think it's a very challenging competition. Let's wait and see. AI 83% of accuracy. Then the AI, but doctor 63%. 63% versus 83%, which is almost the same as what has been predicted by the experts. Professor Mu, in the first round, was 67% versus 63% in the first round, and here we see the results of the second round. I think the results from the 2 rounds of competition are more or less the same because the difference is 20%. That means the levels of doctors in Group A and Group B are similar. We also see that the AI machine didn't reach 90% as we had expected. The AI technology is still at a fledgling stage. It will develop and grow even faster in the future.
这里是全球首次神经影像人工智能人机大赛的比赛现场 ，B 组的比赛对血种的判读结果也出来了。AI 人工智能机器人医生是83%，医生战队是63%。那么这个我们请缪老师。
So the accuracy in the second round is 83% versus 63%. AI failed to reach 90% as we had expected, but we see the big potential. As far as I know, this machine in question was only trained for several months of time. If it had been trained with larger data sets, with the help of more doctors, I believe that the accuracy should be much higher than human doctors. This is only on radiology. I don't think AI can replace doctor at this point. That being said, it opened up our horizon. It opened up a new window for an AI assistance in radiology. So much for the program today. Thank you very much. That is all for the competition.